So, Danny, your beloved Liverpool going against Fulham tonight in an attempt to get, as Chelsea have done, to the Carabao Cup final at Wembley. But Fulham stand in their way. Now, it wasn't Jurgen Klopp who spoke pre-match. It was his assistant, Pep Lijnders. And he got onto the subject of Mo Salah.
You
of
should
course.
never doubt the commitment of Mo Salah. I never met a guy, a player, but also a human being who's more committed to the life of being a professional football player. And I know the country is devastated losing him. We were devastated to hear that he got injured. He plays the first game, scores, assists, captain, massive importance, of course. But the only reason why our medical team and their medical team decided for him to come back is to give him the best possible chance to be available in the final, if Egypt reaches the final.
So this is a contentious point, Simon. Lijnders has come out in defence of Salah after accusations that Salah plotted his departure from the Africa Cup of Nations. The Egypt legend Ahmed Hassan has been speaking about this. He played for his country no fewer than 184 times. And he's taking exception to Salah returning to Merseyside for the treatment on his hamstring. He says, I had no problems with what he said, but it turned out that he was plotting his departure from the Egypt camp.
If he said.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think Salah, Simon, is plotting anything.
I don't think this guy's particularly relevant. I don't think he's anyone that should be determined as judge, jury and executioner. If Liverpool and Egypt are comfortable with one another's position in this, I think his noise is relatively irrelevant. If it's coming out from the Egypt manager and it's coming out from the actual Egypt camp rather than a former player of some significance once upon a time to Egypt that might be hearing some gossip, that might have a motivation and a dislike for Salah, I don't know. But the seeming perspective between Liverpool and Egypt is that they're comfortable, and Liverpool are obviously unhappy that their players got injured on international duty. Egypt are unhappy because their captain's gotten injured. And Liverpool have made the right noises, despite Graham Souness's protestations that they won't want him to go back. They probably didn't want him to go in the first place, because why would they? Why would anyone want them to go?
All this is like, hold on, Mo Salah is a grown man. He's very confident in himself and very patriotic and has played nearly 100 games for Egypt. Yeah. If he wants to go back and he feels fit enough, he'll go back. If he wants to stay out there with his team as captain and have the treatment out there, he'll stay out there. You know, Mo Salah's not shy in coming forward.
So he's back, and if Egypt
he's back
progress,
because it gives him the best chance of getting back for Egypt to play.
You're saying there's no doubt they'll head back out?
No, I don't know. Depends how the rehab goes. I think Mo Salah's made the best decision he can for his fitness
to come back here.
Because why would you come back if you felt the treatment you were getting out there would be better or as good as? He's come back to try and get himself fit to go back out there and win it. You know, let's not forget he's. I think they lost this in the final to Senegal, was it? Yeah.
But you think it's Salah who said, "I'd like to go back and get treatment there"?
I think so. You
don't think it's Liverpool who said, "Why not come back and get treatment
here"? I think Liverpool would have spoke to Salah and said, "Look, we can look after you 24 hours a day if you want. We'll have someone with you." He's probably looked at the facilities where they are. He's probably looked at the Egypt medical team, and they might be decent. Don't get me wrong, but they might not be to the level of what Liverpool have got. The irony, I say the irony. The thing is with an hamstring injury, it's unlikely he's going to get back. Yeah. Whichever way he goes. But there's no way people are dictating to Mo Salah what he should and shouldn't do. And Pep Lijnders does not need to be defending his professionalism or his loyalty. It's brush it away.
Well, Klopp suggested that Salah would return to the tournament for the final if Egypt make it. But you mentioned Souness the other day when he was in here with Simon and myself, Danny. This was his take on it.
He's employed by Liverpool FC. His job is to do his very best for that football club. The very best for Liverpool Football Club if you get Salah back, get him fit, and he doesn't go back to Africa. He's playing the game there, Jurgen, which he has to do, making all the right noises. But the last thing, it's the classic case of club versus country. As a Liverpool supporter, I'm not an Egyptian, obviously, as a Liverpool supporter, I don't want him to go back.
I mean, whose responsibility should it be, Simon, when a player's injured on international duty, club or country? It seems like club is in the driving seat now.
I don't know if it comes, but I think the player's instrumental in that. I mean, the obligation upon the player is clear as it is upon the club, which is if you're called up by your country, you have to go. But if he doesn't want to go, which he clearly did, then ultimately he can exclude himself from playing for his country and then doesn't play for his country again in the future. In this instance, atypically what you'd normally have is a player being told where he stays. Danny makes the point because the balance of power has shifted in dynamics such as this, which is in different scenarios you'd have the player being told he's staying with his country and that's what he's going to be doing, and the club really wouldn't feature in it as much as they might like to, and as much as they're the ultimate employer and paying his wages, they're paying his wages under this specific understanding that once an international federation calls him up, he comes under their jurisdiction. I would imagine that the best interests of getting the player fit are being served by him being back at Liverpool, and people can build out conspiracy theories, and Graham can potentially look at Jurgen Klopp's not playing any games here. This is not Jurgen Klopp's gift. This is Salah's gift. Salah is the one that's injured, and if Salah's fit again, he will possibly be making the decisions about whether he plays for his country.
Graham's alluding probably to the fact that Klopp won't want him to go back, even if he does.
But that's stating the obvious. They never wanted him to go in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
You see, this Egyptian legend, Ahmed Hassan, who stirred it big time by saying he should stay with the team no matter what, even if he only had one leg to stand on.
Yeah, so he's also talking about as a captain and as a leader and motivating the lads around him. And I hear that side of the argument to a degree. But if the medical treatment is so much better elsewhere that can actually get you back fit to try and win the tournament for your that's the better option. His motivational talking ability or his little words of wisdom from the sideline are not as important as him getting fit and being on the pitch. So although he makes a couple of good points, if Mo Salah was in a situation where the treatment he could receive would be identical and as good, and why wouldn't you stay?
Yeah.
And be around the lads, of course.
Yeah,
but it's not, obviously not.
I mean, this former Egyptian player has really stirred the pot, Simon. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I don't know.
And of course, the rest of the Egyptian media will follow suit.
Yeah, I mean, when you dig into these things, you wonder, what's the motivation for saying that? You don't know whether there's some discourse that's gone on between him and Mohamed Salah.
Himself, so he
and you've heard things in the past about the way that Salah travels with the Egyptian team. He goes in one direction and they go in the other. Those rumours have done the circle about a little bit of prima donna behaviour, but that's gossip. The bottom line is you've got a leading former Egyptian player suggesting that Mo Salah doesn't have quite the same chops that he would have if he was in that position.
Yeah.
And that, to me, feels like someone serving out an agenda.
Well, we'll see. He's back here. He's getting treatment. Whether or not he goes back out there to the Côte d'Ivoire, where the African Cup of Nations is being staged, is anybody's guess at this stage, in spite of whatever Egyptian legend is saying on the situation. We're coming up to 11:15 on this beautiful morning here in London. Hope it's good wherever you're listening.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.